right, folks, good morning. It's a Thursday, June the 28th, 2018, and welcome to This Morning. Today, the just madhouse and scapegoating the police. Memory is indeed very unkind to an old man. At 68 years, going on 70 already, I have seen the very best of us as a people and polity, and have witnessed the very worst and the most reprehensible of us as members of the human race. This morning, the Nigeria police is lying prostrate on the canvas. It was never like this, and may I indulge you a little? We used to have a Joseph Adeola, fondly referred to as the flying policeman, James Odoikong, David Ejoke. They were all Commonwealth athletes sprinting for the police. So also were Sam Igu, the high jumper, Chris Okonkwo, the hammer thrower, and Choma Ajunwa, who earned us the first and only individual Olympic gold medal. Sonny Oyarekwa was a striker for both the police machine team and Green Eagles of yore. So in policing itself, I cannot forget the late Chief James Odoikem Usen, who was seconded by the Commonwealth in 1974 to Grenada as the first native or black IGP in that country. And I cannot forget Adamu Suleiman, who became the first and only IG in our history to resign his office over irreconcilable differences with the president at that time. I'm talking about President Shehu Shagari. So you can see from the Second Republic, the decay in the Nigeria police started gradually, and close to 40 years after, the decay is complete. So today we are looking at Jos and the madhouse in that country, quiet place in normal times, and the police whose business it is to see to the internal security of the country. I have two gentlemen in this country, well, come on, at the studio. They've been in the country for some time now. Dr. Dr. Austin Nweze is a lecturer at the Pan-Atlantic University and a commentator on national affairs. I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning, Jones.
And Dr. Omadeli Boyo, medical practitioner and social commentator. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, gentlemen, you know, I'm still fighting to dismiss the fact that we deserve the police we have in this country. How do we take off?
Well, Jones, that man, Odoikem,
yeah.
Odoikem, was that your father?
It's not for this show, but go on.
Anyway, it's good that you brought memories about the achievement of, you know.
No, the idea is to tell you that the police was never like this.
Yes. And that's the point I'm getting at. You know, those days that we used to revere, you know, the police. Anytime you see a policeman, you know, well-dressed and, you know, which actually made me to, once upon a time, to desire to wear uniform, you know.
And be respected as well.
Yes. You know, having gone to school, my classmates in the university, after graduation, they were all going to become one police officer, rear-mounted police in Canada and all that. It was something to desire and all that. But when you look at the police today, they are in a comatose, they're comatose. And it was deliberate. In the sense that when properly trained, in those days they were being sent on missions. They come back with awards, accolades about their performance out there. But how come they have been through, I don't know, deliberate means to make sure that they don't function anymore? It is a sad state. Now, when you give a man a gun and the man is hungry, doesn't have a house, go to police station, police barrack in Karu, in Abuja, Karu, an area called Karu.
I know.
In Abuja.
A suburb of Abuja.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there. You wouldn't believe the kind of...
In the Federal Capital Territory?
Yes. You wouldn't believe the inhuman condition that these people are subjected to. Go to the one at Ikeja, GRA, near the High Court.
Name them.
The same thing. Is it the one in Obalende?
No, how many can you name?
There are many.
Dr. Boyo, still on the good side, we used to have Maifa, God bless her real name, in Calabar. She was a terror of criminals in Calabar. And then in Lagos, there was a Mama Toyin, was the nemesis of many an errant, you know, traffic offender here. Yeah. The beautiful ones are no longer there.
Yeah. And they're still there. They're still there. It's only that over the years, I think after the Civil War, the military concentrated on developing barracks and building a strong military at the expense of the police. There's nothing wrong in having a strong military, but we should remind ourselves that the main preoccupation of the military is to safeguard the borders of this country and wage war against external aggressors. The military is not trained to help the country in time of peace. It's mainly aggression. And so over the years, I think from after the Civil War, when barracks were being built and cantonments were being built everywhere, there appeared to have been a deliberate attempt to like what Dr. Nweze said about comatose state, I would call it a forced coma. In medicine, there are some diseases that in order to get the man to do what you want to do, you force a coma on the patient, and in the process, you can begin to prevent some organs of the body from dying. But this forced coma appeared to be an attempt to prevent the police from being able to perform effectively. Remember, the forensic department of the police used to be very, very, very efficient in those days. We had policing of communities where policemen rode on bicycles through communities, and the police had their ears on the ground. They knew the communities inside out, and they knew the dens. They struck at those places. Remember the days of Oyenusi, the days of Anini, and things like that. You didn't need the military to capture Anini or to capture Oyenusi. I remember the dreaded Adeusi, who had some issues later on in the political era, but he was well known as a fighter policeman. Yeah. And that's what we used to have in those days. And we didn't know where these men were from, whether they were Hausas, Igbo, or Yoruba. There was integrity, and they served the country with their lives. But I think the problem started not only with the military, but also with the process of recruitment of people to the police force. You'll be amazed how people are recruited. And I think also the children of the educated, the children of the higher people stopped allowing their children to go there too. So we find at the end of the day, you complain about the police force, but you not allow your child to join the police force. The police can only reflect who we are. It's the kind of people that are recruited.
We deserve the police we have?
I think so, to a large extent. We deserve, although there's a background, like what he said, over the years too, deliberate emasculation. Do you know that the police can prevent coups in this country? You don't need the army to prevent coup. It's the police that have their ears on the ground. The police can arrest anybody. But over the years, look at the barracks, like I said, look at the police stations, and the military has not done that better either, because if you go to the army barracks, the navy barracks, the air force barracks, you don't get any good thing. So corruption invaded the process of admission, the process of selection, the process of recruitment. If you look at this year's budget, 2018 budget approved, a huge chunk of money was meant for recruitment, training of the police. How much we get down there to do the job? In like manner too, the people can only reflect the kind of environment they work in, the kind of environment they are raised in. Now, if you go to the barracks and see where recruits stay, where they live, how they live, how they fetch water with pails and like prisoners, you can't be better than who you have been made to look like. So it's something that should start from the very, very, very basic thing of recruitment, selection, postings.
I hear that in more sophisticated environments, Dr. Nweze, policemen and women are not confined to barracks.
No.
Well, they live in communities.
No, because one is that I've been advocating for the abolishment of police barracks. You know, the only people that should have barracks away from any civilized environment is the military. They should be confined far away from human. I remember... No,
not human. Come on, don't be derogatory.
From the town.
I remember,
from city centers and so on.
Yes. I remember a woman walking on the street, and one army guy just came back from this, and he wore a uniform. A woman was with her daughter, who has never seen that girl, an 11 or 14-year-old girl. She was frightened to death.
See, what
for
is this?
Seeing
not who is this, what is this?
What is this? To see an army man on the street.
Kitted.
Kitted. She was frightened. They had to sue. for the trauma caused by the military for wearing that on the street. The police should live within the communities. They should abolish barracks. You see, that's one of the things that Solomon Arase, the former IG, said. What we inherited from the police that had not been changed. The template for the police was inherited from the colonial masters, rather.
But what did he do?
He was in the
IG?
process of doing that. He had already started doing something, bringing back investigation and all that before he was removed.
Arase is not the man in the hot seat, but I'm saying under the same Arase, if Dr. Boye will remember, a TV house, not our own now, went to town with an expose, a 30-minute documentary showing the ills of the police college at Ikeja. A miffed President Jonathan got there. The commissioner of police in charge of the police college here at Ikeja was chastised. Nothing happened.
For allowing the press to come into the premises.
For allowing the press to...
Not only for allowing the press to come in, but actually for allowing that condition to be so that attract the press to come.
It's the same thing.
So because if you pass that Ikeja college, on that Mobolaji Bakantoni way, you can see the order oozing out from that place. You won't believe water from wastes, sewage. They're all on the streets.
Dr. Boye, Commissioner of Police in Plateau State, Ondie Adie, I hope I got it right, has been sacked. Is that the answer?
That's not the answer. That's not the answer. Nah. The scripture will say the foundation be destroyed. What will the righteous do? The point is that that's what we call scapegoatism. And people tend to do it to make a statement. You just sack the commissioner of police. In fact, you may even need him now more than ever before to explain what he did and why he did what he did. In fact, the first thing is to be wondering, what happened? And put him on the hot seat. And he will not tell you, is it that he had problem with investigation? Because in those days, the CID department, Criminal Investigation Department of the Police Force, was second to none. And you could get information from data and everything from them that
Dr. Boye, you hardly knew who a CID man was.
They were plain clothes. They were plain clothes. They were plain clothes. And they moved into everywhere and they knew what they were looking for. And they were in like pepper soup joints. They knew where the criminals were and they got all this. Now you can't just sack the commissioner of police because you don't even know what are divisional police officers, what are they doing? So at the end of the day, I'm not against sacking him if found to have been culpable, but I'm against scapegoatism, picking somebody up and sacking the person when the governor is there, chief security officer of the state is there, you have the garrison commanders of the various military units in the state, you have the police force, you have the mobile police force.
The governor is not the chief security. On paper, it is. He is.
Yeah.
But he cannot tell a policeman to sit down and he sits down.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But I'm talking about scapegoatism.
But
scapegoatism. The question is, should you just sack the commissioner of police without investigating the processes that led to this thing?
Or interrogating his constraints.
Yes, he's going to find out what went wrong.
Why don't you think that is what they're trying to avoid? That's why they removed him.
Yeah, but
for him not to say his constraint or what happened, whether he heard about it or something like that.
Dr. Wins, you're correct, but you're beating the gun. The first thing is the right thing to do?
It is not
and
the right
answer
thing
is
to do.
no, it's not the right thing. Why
but
do you think it was done? It was done as scapegoating. Yeah. Because at times, I mean, look at history. History is full of that, where they look at the French Revolution, look at everything in history. A man is going down and he picks a few people and then begins to deal with them. And then people say, hey, he's dealing with them. The problem is never solved. This same thing, like when you look at the guns issues in America, people just come up the day people have been shot and everything, you blame people for buying guns. After that, everybody goes back to until the next atrocity is committed. Now, this thing has happened in Benue State, happens regularly in Taraba State, happens in Plateau State. Remember the days of Dariye? Remember the days of Dariye, when Obasanjo came and imposed his curfew? What were the lessons learned in these states? What were the lessons learned in this state?
Dr. Nweze, in 1986, before the Justice Mustafa Akombi panel, dismissed Superintendent of Police Alozie Ogbuaja. You remember him?
Yes,
who propounded the pepper soup
philosophy.
And said categorically, if you equip the Nigeria police coups would be things of the past.
Yeah, yeah.
And at that point, he had crossed the red line.
Yes.
And the police became emasculated.
That was the beginning of it, because the military, like Boyo rightly mentioned, the military, they never wanted any strong police to make them really relevant. Because one is that the policeman has
apparently they were oblivious of the power of the police until then.
Yeah, because when they realized it, they decided to, destroy the force deliberately, not to function, to do the job. Because a policeman can arrest anybody, be you military, be you anything. That's why they have even military police. They can arrest you. They can, for internal security, it's the police.
Imagine that, yeah, the military police is an aspect of the military.
Yeah, it's an aspect of the military, And I just met one recently in a conference, and I was talking to him. And he said the job they do, he's a policeman, but he's in the military. So he said anybody, any this thing, will just pick you up. And, so you see that rather than allow the civilian police, more or less, to police, they have the military police and stuff like that. So maybe to avoid being that, because a civilian police, let me use that word, civilian police, could also arrest the military. Any military officer, for as long as it is, for erring or any offense concerning this thing. But you see them throwing punches on the streets.
Yeah, Dr. Boyo, 19 years on now, as a counterpoint to this, the civilians have come back to power. And so what has happened in 19 years?
What has happened is before the 19 years, the civilians have been made to believe that the military is a solution. There's a mentality of militarism.
A carryover?
Yes, a carryover. And you see, everywhere people look at it, if you look at it, our presidents have had military backgrounds now. We are now even bringing back former military presidents because the trust we don't even trust ourselves. And the average person on the street begins to think that if you're a president, you're supposed to be a military person. And it's even like a plus now, a former military president. We need to change that to know that everywhere in the world, civilians rule. And they use the apparatus of state to rule, to lead. And to be in the military could be a plus. It's not a wrong thing because you made a sacrifice. You are patriotic. Yeah. You've served the fatherland. Just like if you were a civil servant, you are patriotic. Even if you are a private entrepreneur and you have served and paid your taxes, you are patriotic enough to want to lead. But what it is, the way it is now, all this, if you look at the way the military used to lead, it's with an immediate effect. And without due process,
precision,
without, all those things at times avoid the legislature. And that's why you have issues that we are going through today. But the question is, the military will spend much more money on DMI, Director of Military Intelligence, much more money on everything related to the military. The average military man, who is at the same rank of a parallel rank with the police, will earn more, live a better life, have better cars than the policeman. So the police was emasculated through underpayment, poor. Do you know sometimes the police don't get their salaries?
19 years into democracy, which is crazy.
Nothing has really changed in the lives of the police.
But we are saying if the strength of the police officers and men is about 300, a little over 300,000, more than half of these are deployed to big men.
Yes, big men like me now. We have a security all around us. And one mobile police guy said, openly where I was, that he would do anything, even to die for the former governor of Akwa Ibom State. Because he was deployed there. He worked with the governor then.
And he made money.
He made money. He said this man would take care of the police.
So don't doubt him.
Yes, because
don't doubt him.
Can you imagine if the thing is, a larger population of the police, and then they say if you are sending off your daughter to university, make sure you provide for her. Yes.
So
otherwise,
so he can say that. But let's go back to Jos and look at policing vis-a-vis the madhouse there, the bedlam in that place, the senseless killings. What do you expect the new CP to do, which his predecessor never did?
But the new CP can really do basically because the military are in charge there. They're the ones.
And who knows the mandate under which he was sent to? Yes. I mean, not been sent to just to quell the thing. Yes. Been sent to just to protect. So
can the military boys there?
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
Very personal.
Yeah.
Can the military there obey his orders?
No.
That's the point.
No.
Because the military is already deployed. They're already there. So I don't know what magic. The only thing is that if everyone deployed there, be you military or police, that you obey, that the authority lies on the new CP. And that's the only thing that he can. And then he's allowed to be professional in his job. Okay. And not to protect any special. But he takes orders from his IG.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. The IG has to give him order, like the mandate given to him, is what he's going to follow. So if the military, if he says, okay, he has a mandate to bring everything to normalcy, be you military, be this, and you take orders from him. And he's professional about it. Yeah. Otherwise, there's nothing basically he can do. No. Even the governor, Jones, maybe later on we can talk about even the governor. Can the governor really, as the chief security officer of the state, they have security votes they receive every month, and he cannot even use that money to do, even if he equips the police.
I hope it doesn't provoke the debate of whether the money is enough. Dr. Buyo, yeah, without prejudice to what you have, but let me throw this in like a spanner in the wheel. The just crisis predates this country. It's been there long since. Yeah. Till today, we have not, and I sound it like a broken record, we have not really interrogated the issue of citizenship, settlership, and which is the other ship? Indigenship. Yeah. So who is an indigene, who is a settler? That's part of the problem in Plateau. So what's the problem? Can't we go to the cause rather than deal with the effect?
Symptoms, yeah. And I'm happy you're raising this because in as much as it has religious undertones, these things must be addressed. Like sending a commissioner of police to somewhere, even in business circles, we have what they call planning, implementation, monitoring, evaluation. Why did this thing take place? What happened? Is it a problem with leadership? Is it a problem with number? Is it a problem with availability of adequate policemen? Because like what you said, 300,000 policemen, if that number is correct in this country, I can assure you that more than half of these are serving the banks and the big men. And if you look at your city, if you had to look at the number of policemen available, because now we talk about commissioner of police, but the real men are the DPOs, the divisional police officers for the various units.
Area commanders.
And area commanders and zonal commanders, where you have AIG, and area commander where you have the assistant commissioner of police. You should know by now that every state has AIGs in charge of the zones where the state belongs to. And so what was a signal sent to Abuja before by the former commissioner of police? How far did he go in handling the crisis? Because
did he sniff anything?
Yeah, in crisis management, sniffing is even better than actual intervention. No crisis should take place without the police on ground knowing that something is coming. Because these things don't happen overnight. No. Even if you read the various accounts, some of them may not be accurate, some of them may be fake, you realize that the people that attacked claim to have been attacked before. And I'm not justifying the attack. I'm saying that whether there are reprisals or not, the police ought to have known that something was going to happen. In fact, with what has been happening in the country in the last 6, 8, 10 years, the police should be on alert with the fact that herdsmen, settlers, indigenes, and all these things have issues going on every part of the country. And so when you are posted to a state, either as a commissioner of police, the assistant commissioner of police, or as a DPO to a division, you should know that there are areas where crisis brew.
Black spots.
Black spots.
And
these black spots are never adequately catered for. One, they don't have enough police. The policemen are never adequate. The policemen are sent to more profitable areas. Let me tell you, most of these places where the policemen are sent to, like banks and big men, like Dr. Nweze said, they are paid for. This is an additional income to the various levels of authority in the state.
So to be posted to
some of those places.
No, to the south, maybe Port Harcourt, maybe to Onitsha. So they, some of them really lobby to be posted there because
they pay.
Yes. Yes, they pay to be posted there because of the monies they will make.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we know that these things are due to corruption. I'll give you a simple story if you allow me. My uncle had an orderly posted, or a judge had an orderly posted to him, and the orderly came and said, "Oh God, his wife has delivered." Oh, he said, "Congratulations." He said, "Not only congratulations." The man said, "What is it?" He said, "I need to be posted to checkpoint for some time." The judge said, "You can't be telling that to me. What do you mean by that?" He said, "Look, I'm hungry." His wife, he told me, his wife had to advise him, "Release your orderly to checkpoint before he shoots you one day." So he grudgingly caught a judge of a very disciplined man. He posted him. After a month or two, the man came back and said, "Oh God, thank you. I'm stronger now."
Let me humor you a little. The first time then military head of state, Muhammadu Buhari came, this war against indiscipline was on. And there was this focus on police and chopping bribe. One policeman said on camera, "Oga, how I go chop if I no chop?" Look at the chop.
Yes, now.
There are two different chops there.
You know, because many years ago, Singapore had a challenge with the police and crime and corruption and even with the military. And they decided to find a solution to it. Now, the solution was...
A Singaporean solution.
Yes, a Singaporean solution. They discovered that, look, the policemen needed to own their own homes. The military needed to own their own homes. So they made sure that everyone, the pay between the two are, basic apart. Now, even the pay between them and a civil servant or somebody working in the private sector, very close. So that the policeman will have the sense of belonging, and there's this forced savings for them. If you're a citizen, whether you're police or army, you forced savings, so that by the time you come to this, and you're equipped, both technology will help and all that to make sure that nothing, and that's why you can actually leave anything. And it makes it
training. Training.
Do you know that even that training? I have a junior police who's my junior friend. He was sent on training at Biokuta for weeks. They put them in one primary school, and where they had to be cooking for themselves. I had to send money from Lagos to him to be able to eat. Meanwhile, provisions were made. I said, how can you send someone on the training without making provision for him?
Meanwhile, the civil servant go on training and stay in Transcorp.
Yeah.
And then you now go on training as a police officer. Sometimes they are level 10, level 12 people. And they go there, they don't even have the right atmosphere for training.
So the IG is
sorry, sir. Have you noticed that when our policemen go abroad, they do very well?
They do very well now.
They come back with accolades, like you said.
Have you heard this as a counterpoint to that, counter logic? They said a group of Nigerian policemen were sent abroad on such missions. The very first day they were to go out, they mounted a roadblock. And then the colleague said, "Oh boy, no be Nigeria with Deo," and so on. It's a carryover.
Yeah.
So let's go back to training.
Yeah.
Training. Just the other day, the president ordered for the recruitment of 6,000 policemen across the country.
That's more, 6,000?
Yeah, but that's the figure. We just say, let's start from somewhere. But before anything, you could say, Jack released the information. More than 133,000 people had been shortlisted. So where did those come from?
Oh.
So recruitment and training is key.
Yeah.
So many of these policemen, I stand corrected, are hangers-on, thugs and so on, who are released.
Jones, no, let me just take it from...
Because the former ex-president Obasanjo said in one of those moments, sober moments, that in the police force we had robbers who were recruited.
Yes.
He must have information.
Yes, because one man was arrested, was asked, "Why did you join the police?" He said it was an armed robber. Before he joined the police to enable him rob.
In a Nollywood film?
No.
Okay, I want to be sure.
No, not Nollywood. He joined the police to enable him rob, because he was robbing this, and the police were disturbing him.
So he moved his robbery to another level.
Another level. You see, the entry point for the police is a major challenge. And until we solve that, even in any organization, if you don't hire the right people, you know,
and
pay them
families to send their children to the police force.
And pay them
because background, home training matters in everything we do in this world. Home training matters.
Otherwise,
for you to be a policeman in Canada and all that, you know, that kind of this thing, most of them are university graduates.
So for them, for those people, gentlemen, policing is a vocation, a way of life.
Yes.
Otherwise, in our land, in our climate, if we don't train them, we keep scapegoating them. It's not fair. We'll be back after this break. Okay, then, don't lose it. The just madhouse or just bedlam, scapegoating the police. And policing there is a metaphor for what's happening to the police across the country. I have two gentlemen, Doctors Austin Nweze and Omadele Boyo. Gentlemen, yeah.
Yes. As I was saying before we went on break, the new Peace Commissioner of Police sent to Jos should have something to work on. And we don't know the mandate he was given. I would have liked a situation where the former commissioner was interrogated and information gotten. And then let's know what the problems are in Plateau, Benue, Taraba, those hotspots.
There must be peculiar problems.
Yes, and again, how will policing help there? Because what we normally hear after such things, the vice president visits, the president visits, and a combined team of the military and air force are sent there to maintain law and order. The military is not
which ordinarily should be the job of the police.
The military is not trained to maintain law and order. The military is trained to bring down insurrection. Not even police can do that. The military is trained for external warfare.
And the mobile police was trained to deal with internal riots and
protests and things like that. So at the end of the day, to equip the police will mean funding the police. We prefer to fund the military than fund the police, because when you fund the military, it's so opaque, nobody knows what you have done. If you fund the police, you move the average policeman from what is earning now to a better life, better vehicles, and you find that even their mentality begins to change. How many policemen are sent for training abroad? By the time you become a colonel in the army, you will have gone to either War College at Point, you have gone to Sandhurst, or you will have gone to India. How many policemen have these external trainings and external
beyond going on foreign missions?
Beyond going on foreign missions. Yeah. And then look at, we have talked about the police stations, we have talked about even the police departments, traffic department, CID department. In every police station in Nigeria should be equipped in a way that the average policeman feels a sense of belonging, and that's what he needs to do to track crime. Now we have internet, we have so many facilities, you can track, you have GPS, you can track where people are and what people are doing. How many police stations are IT friendly, have been prepared in a way that the policeman doesn't only get information, turns the information into using it to combat crime and preempt criminals.
Yeah. Now, Jones, I'm talking about others. My neighborhood, the police post there, the DPO, you know, before he was transferred, you know, in his office, you know, usually visit, you know, to have a chat and all that. In his office, there was no light, NEPA, and he had to run a generator. But there was another, the telecom companies, just right there by this thing, just beside them.
The mast.
The mast, yeah, beside them. And the DPO was asking the engineer to please give them some light. And the man said no. He now said, okay, how do you want me to protect your mast when you cannot even just a light that will come into his own office so that he can work? Now the same police, how many vehicles? One vehicle. But they cannot even afford to fuel it. Mm-hmm. So the man had to go to filling stations, owners of the filling station around the neighborhood, and say, look, why don't you people give us fuel? I was right in my presence. They got to one filling station. The manager, he phoned the manager that, hey, my boys are coming, please, as usual, do give them fuel. And the manager had to oblige. So that's how beggarly they have turned the place.
Beggarly. I like that word. Okorafor, Comrade Okorafor is reaching us from Arochukwu. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Sir Jones. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Morning.
Police need proper funding scheme. Train and retrain their staff 247. Now, the modern detective system of information gathering is what we want in Nigerian police formation. Because we are talking about globalization. That is what the world is talking about. In Nigerian police, we believe in torture. That is an AKE because if you go to Israel and see how they do their own torture, you see it's different like the one we're talking about. Now look at just about justice. Just this is 17 years of mayhem in Jos. 17 years. So we need a proper information gathering, detectively. Nigerian police should change their pattern. Play for me, I will change the pattern of police recruitment. Minimum requirements in any police formation in Nigeria. Let's keep it to a diploma. Let's say a diploma for any higher institution. Because this issue of SSC will bring in Tom, Dick, and Harry. Let's move the standard up and split up that what the man was talking about the sample and death. That is what it should be because police is our brother, they are friends. It's the first contact you make in any environment, in any change, in any problem. So the standards should both move forward. Thank you very much and have a blessed day in Lagos.
Many thanks.
It will be difficult to use the OND because there is a Federal Character Commission, and in some parts of this country, most people won't even qualify to join the force. And there'll be a screaming of the fact that they are being marginalized in joining the force. If you look at it very carefully, even admissions into secondary schools, ordinary common entrance, some states are able to enter with 10%, whereas some states have their cutoff mark at 65%. Now, when you have these issues on the ground, that's why restructuring comes in. That's why that unanswered question of indigenship, citizenship and settlership has to be looked at. It's a broad thing that needs to do with the Constitutional Conference tried to resolve, but it was never implemented. It is a basic undercurrent of who we are. And how do we move on from here? In Jos today, I've lived in Jos before. In Jos today, you have the Birams and you have the what they call the settlers. And these settlers claim to have been there for 200 years. Good. But these settlers have been there for 200 years. If it was an Igbo man in Kano for 200 years, does it make him a citizen? No. Good. But a Fulani man in Jos for 50 years wants to claim citizenship. So we have to now ask ourselves, what is good for the goose? What is good for the gander?
Okay, quickly, there's a second leg to that issue. Who owns the land? We'll come back, but let me take Judge.
Papa's land.
Come on. Reverend Dominic is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Citizen Jones.
I greet you.
Good morning, Dr. Weze.
Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Boyo.
Good morning.
Let me give you a latest information. The information that's coming from Counseling House now is that they have restored back the former commissioner back to Plateau State. So this restoring back the former commissioner, Weze, is my own confusion as a person, as a pastor, as a citizen of Nigeria. What we're discussing in the studio, we're discussing as a layman who doesn't have first-class information about the security of Nigeria. But the challenge is this: how could ASROC and DMI, DSS, all the security agents in Nigeria are still in black of something in our nation? That blood is leaking every day. For information, it happened again in Nassau this morning. For information, it has happened again in Nassau this morning. For information, it has happened again in Benue this morning. How do we live in a nation that the leadership is confused? Number two, I want to plead to every Nigerian. We should stop this story that happened in 1960. It happened in 1970. When Buhari came into, to campaign 3 years ago, the issue of campaign was security. I will stop killing. I will stop Boko Haram. Now, before we give power to stop those killings, we are still having killings.
Dominic, Reverend Dominic,
Sir.
Yes, I defend your right to free expression, but don't corrupt the discussion. I am saying Buhari is not a magician. I'm not his, hold on, I'm not his publicist, but I'm saying when he came on, the mound of problem he inherited. You have said years and years ago, you need intelligence to crack the wahala. You don't solve, it's not a peace. We are not talking about a peace, Reverend Dominic, you signed at a table. It's peace in the heart.
Can I answer you? Can I answer you?
Yep, you have 30 seconds.
How many years, excuse me, Sir, how many years will it take us to understand the problem? How many years will it take us to understand the problem?
That's what we're discussing.
Reverend Dominic, again, don't corrupt the discussion. We are not talking about an APC or PDP. We are talking about a Nigerian solution to a problem created by Nigerians.
Over the years.
Over time.
Decades.
It's not a blame game. You know, I never mentioned Obasanjo or Jonathan here. It's a Nigerian problem. It's been there. Yeah. We must crack it.
Yeah, we must crack it. Because if we have an efficient police force,
yeah.
it will take care of kidnapping, it will take care of kidnapping, it will take care of every other thing.
You mentioned if a policeman is posted to Biron, for instance, yes, he needs to familiarize himself with the environment and all that. And that is why we've been advocating. From my mother's womb, I was saying, quote, I've been advocating with others about state and community policing. Good. You need to understand the people, the terrain and all that by living amongst them.
Have you addressed the fears?
Forget the fear, you know, because going to war, people must die. It's
like taking you to Reverend Dominic now. Yeah. Forget the past.
No,
deal with the now.
No, I'm not saying forget the past. I said
no, I'm not. I'm saying. Okay. Dominic said, look, for how many? Why must we go back? We must go back to go forward.
Yes, without going back, we cannot move forward. And so what we're saying here is, once the fears that people have, you know,
about state policing.
About state policing, yeah,
they're unfounded.
They're
not founded. It's just a basis of distrust.
Yes.
We don't trust ourselves.
Yes. So, but the point is that we are afraid to take a risk. Why don't we take this risk and see how and improve on the whole thing?
I think most people are worried that if you cannot pay teachers, how will you pay state police? Two, in the
valid
second
question, but let me take her quickly. Kunle is in Ibadan, Oyo State. Welcome, Kunle.
Hello, good morning, sir.
I greet you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, the guest, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir. Now, you know, according to what the man that, the previous man that called now, you know, that you argue with, he said that our president promised of protecting lives when he came to the power. But I want to remind us that let us take a look at the time, you know, when this killing escalated around the Middle Belt, Taraba, Benue, and the Jos, and the Plateau. The Plateau has been there for so long. The Taraba and the Benue area, let us take a look at the time that one escalated. That was so serious. Now, I want to remind that man that, you know, if our president has not come, you know, with the program of the looters, come and return your loot. I want to believe that all this problem may not, you know, be
conspiracy theory.
If you understand me, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, corruption has a way of fighting back, but again, there are still some things that are
like we said, you know, if the structure is in place. So this, whether it's corruption or not, the structure will take place of corruption.
That's it.
Take place.
That's it.
We handle it.
Yesterday, elsewhere on this station, we touched on poverty as a form of violence. If somebody is poor, he becomes violent.
Yes, yes. And remember, in the Second Republic, before the Second Republic, even on campuses, during the Ali Mosque and during the student riots, the police knew which university was likely going to go on, where it's going to go berserk. They had SSS in those days, now DSS, and they had all kinds of, they infiltrated the students' community.
Students.
Yes. The police had students on campus, and they infiltrated the student community, and they knew that by tomorrow, if you say, oh, Unilag, we are going to march to Yaba bus stop, by 8 o'clock in the police will be there before the students.
Preempting.
They preempted it. And that's what we're talking about now. Yeah. If you are posted a DPO to Jos, or to maybe Jos North or Jos South, and he knows the community leaders of thought, he knows where the university, knows where the students are, he can also know when these riots are coming, and preempt, call for assistance, call for backup, and preempt them. Nothing just happens. These things are planned. If you look at, you can't kill 200 people without planning. These plans have been going on, and thank God police is very heavily structured in a way that nearly every tribe in Nigeria represented in the police force. No matter how tilted, there may be some excess of some parts of the country, but even within Lagos here, in Jos, there will be an Igbo man in the police force, there will be a Yoruba man in the police force. The police is so well representative of the country, and that does not mean that some people are not.
Have you heard this? This is from a gossip column.
Yes.
Kogi has the highest number, followed by your state, Edo.
I'm not Edo, sir. I'm Delta.
Okay.
Yes.
The difference is the same. Old bender.
When it's convenient.
And then we talk about the South-South.
Yeah.
Good. That's policing.
If I may cut you even there, it's even better to have such a large number of minorities in the police
because
force.
The argument is that up there, they prefer the military. I don't know if you get the logic here.
Okay, yeah, okay. They prefer to join the military.
Because
that's where you can get the power. You can't get the power through the police.
Yeah,
but whatever it is, in all those communities, you can be so sure that the 50 policemen in Georgetown are not all Birams. They're not all Fulanis. Are you getting me? And so they should be able to say, would they be objective enough to know if they're properly paid, properly trained, and they are maybe up to the task and they are equipped. They could say, the way we are looking at next week, this is who we attack. And send for help from everywhere in the country. And they think I'm equipped right where they are planning it there. I want to hear a story that people were caught planning to attack Jos, rather than people were caught after killing 100 people.
It had always been done in the past.
That way.
So you are wondering, where did we go mad in terms of policing?
I think when immediately...
after the Civil War.
Yeah, after the Civil War, the military, just like they did in every other aspect of the Nigerian state, began to really divide, and we are even more divided right now. Even the military or the police are even more polarized, along ethnic or religious lines. Remember the Boko Haram, one Boko Haram military guy said that some years ago, that what do you call that? This thing is to his religion rather than his uniform. But they're trained.
It's allegiance.
Yeah, allegiance first. Yeah, thank you very much.
Dr. Mweze, let me reach out to your brother or sister now in Enugu State, Buchi. Welcome, Buchi.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Your brother.
Good morning, guys in the studio.
Let's go, sir.
Yeah, please, I want us to believe that we can do this thing, and we can do it right. Our policemen are adequate and they can do it right. I've seen them do their work, something like this. It's not that we should start believing maybe because of quota system that everybody must bring people who are not qualified into the Nigerian system, into the Nigerian police system. No, we have to bring people who can do this job. You understand? People can't just be dying like that and we'll keep on maintaining the old system of recruiting, say quota system, because these people are less able, they don't have people that will be qualified to join the police. That cannot be acceptable any longer. You understand? So what I want to tell you here is that we have to look into this thing. Let's bring in people who can do this police work. We have enough policemen in this country. You just watching people butchered every now and then, as if we don't have any intelligence on why these people come. This attack will last for hours and nothing will happen about. I don't know. It's not quite devastating to just see something like this going on in this country, and every day we'll keep on. You will see maybe in the next 3 days or 4 days I will see how something like this happens.
Let me engage you a little, 10 seconds. Between Onitsha and your Enugu State, how many checkpoints do you have?
50.
Well, the checkpoints have reduced somehow, I must tell you.
But they're still there.
Moving from Onsukana, I can tell the checkpoints we will have there. I know exactly where they used to position before. But I believe that so it has reduced recently.
Yeah, so you trust the policeman to be your friend? Do you trust the policeman to be your friend?
Yes, police is my friend.
Okay, so he's sure.
But let me correct something.
But many Nigerians are not sure. Thank you, Buchi.
We are not saying that quota system is a solution. Quota system has been entrenched in the Constitution, and there's a Federal Character Commission.
Or wrongly.
Rightly or wrongly. There's a Federal Character Commission that ensures that when you are doing a recruitment process, you must recruit almost the same number of people from different parts of the country. And that's not within, it's not within our purview here to judge.
Buchi is suggesting, yes, keep your quota system, but let the job be appealing to those who want to take up policing as a vocation.
In addition to that, he said, let us get people who are qualified for the job. Yeah, but you can't get people who are qualified in a state where an ND man, somebody with an ND, or somebody with first degree in Kano State won't join the police for easily. Why? In the civil service, his promotion will be more rapid than in the federal civil service. The state civil service will give him a car and everything.
Boils down to bridging that gap.
That gap, yeah. Boils down to bridging
income gap.
income gap
between the civil service, the police, and the army.
And then it also boils down to improving the educational system in the North in a way that we must ensure that the average Northerner has a minimum of an ND.
At least to go into
because even some of these police officers
service,
have complained to me that they post somebody from some part of this country, he cannot write.
Yeah.
He cannot write. There was an interview. There was a time an IGP went to Maiduguri and met a policeman and told him to write his name. He couldn't write his name. And that's very sad. So you see, the point is that maybe he was sick that day, or he had malaria.
He was sick, yeah. Yakubu is waiting patiently at Dokwemu. I greet you, Yakub.
Citizen, good morning, sir.
Welcome.
And then good morning to the
good morning.
They greet you.
Doing a great job to the issues on the ground. But Citizen Joe, there's something I want us to look into. You see, I don't know why in Nigeria we are afraid of state police. Why am I bringing this issue on again is that, for example, they are calling the governor of every state in this country as a chief security officer of the state. And then that is done on paper. The chief security of the state cannot even control the commissioner of the police in that state. Rather than the commissioner of the police in that state, before he took any issue, he has to get order from the Abuja or whatever. See, if we can go back to state police, I think all these attacks can be able to curb the initial stage. For example, what caused all this killing in Plateau State is that when I listened to journalist and that yesterday, Babajide was telling us that they report that one small Fulani guy has been killing, and then nothing has been done to that. And then why are we running away from state police? And then these governments are getting money, security force, and then what are they use this money for? If you cannot be able to say, okay, let's set up state police so that we can be able to give information to the nearest police station in our various community.
Thank you. So it's a never-ending.
Do you know the university?
It's a never-ending subject matter.
Do you know in the university, Pan Atlantic University, the school had to sponsor a police build, in that place. So if you
the state should have built it.
Yes, now
the state should have built it.
Lagos State government provided cars. There are cars on the beautiful cars, new cars on the streets of Lagos to help the police. But at the end of the day, how effective
have we empowered the drivers
man inside the car
of those cars? That's key here.
Yeah, because it's very, very important. We must make sure that the policemen are better paid than even the civil servants themselves. Yes. And that's part of the solution. We must make sure that we go back to whatever fears that we have about community policing, state police, and all that.
Dr. Nweze, you are rounding off your thoughts.
Whatever it is, these are human beings. You don't give guns to a hungry man. You see how they run riots. We meet them on the road. One time I was traveling, to that Benin bypass. We encountered the Fulani herdsmen who just finished attacking some people. And the police, 3 policemen.
Or so you were told.
Yes. So the policemen were very aggressive and all that. They had not eaten all day. And they said they just finished their lives in danger because of the herdsmen, who came to attack and all that. And they were not even the vehicle, could not even no fuel in the car.
So sometimes it's important what story you want to believe.
Because
so
this
you
was
can sift the wheat from the chaff.
First-hand information. Yeah. I was there.
Doctor, you were not there when the attack took place. Thank you. Dr. Boyle?
Yes, I want us to say we must settle the issue of citizenship, settlership, and citizenship in this country. We must be able to be free to live anywhere in this country, and it must be something that you have stayed in a country for in a part of the country for so long, you can belong. And so, and then we must also ensure that the police are properly taken care of. And every policeman should have a life, should be happy to belong. We should restore sports in the police force. We should restore good housing. We should restore the CID department, the forensic department in various stations, not in Kamsele House or back in Abuja, but every divisional police should have a forensic section, should be able to look at deaths and post-mortem and know what is going on. Every station should be computerized and properly equipped
networked.
and networked.
Yeah.
Even if you have their own intranet. And then each policeman should be properly paid, trained, and should have a future in the police
by
force.
the backroom
and
boys
then possibly
to live
among us.
Let me
and
stop
let the
you.
backroom also know that if the poor does not sleep,
you.
the rich will not sleep.
Okay, Doctors Austin Mweze and Omadele Boyo, many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
So the viewer must understand this. This is no gainsaying anything. An effective, put it this way, a properly trained and equipped police force can guarantee safety and security on the inside. That's not something you go to a babalawo for. I'm done for today. There's another program for tomorrow, and Yori Folani will be here. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.